Testing 1, 2, 3. Mic test. Interview room 1, 2, 3. It's a mic test for the interview room. Philadelphia Regional. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right, let me get these out.
Started here. We have Notre Dame on their way. Should be here in just a few seconds. Quick note while we wait on them. All-tournament team was announced from Notre Dame, VJ Beecham and Demetrius Jackson. Yogi Ferrell from Indiana. And then from North Carolina, Marcus Page and Bryce Johnson. And Johnson was the most outstanding player for this regional. So once again, all tournament for this regional, VJ Beecham and Demetrius Jackson from Notre Dame, Yogi Ferrell from Indiana, and Marcus Page and Bryce Johnson from North Carolina. Johnson is the most outstanding player. Once again, you can pick up these press conferences either via satellite coordinates, via satellite or from FTP. Satellite coordinates, SES3, transponder 4A, downlink frequency 11766.5 vertical. FTP would be NCAA MBB.HammondCG, so HAMMONDCG.com. At the prompt, username is all lowercase NCAAM 2016. Password is 2016, capital M, lowercase NCAA Media. All right, so we'll have an opening statement from Coach Bray. After that, we'll have questions for the student athletes. Once we're done with those guys, we'll dismiss them and we'll have questions for Coach Bray. If you have a question, we have a couple microphone holders. Just wait for them and then give your name and your outlet before you ask your question. So, Coach, if you want to start with an opening statement.
Yeah, I'm extremely proud of my team and, to get here, and I thought we put ourselves in position. You got to give credit to Carolina. We took that 1-point lead, and they really answered it like men, and we didn't have much left. They wore us down a little bit with their depth and their front line, and they shot the heck out of the ball. You got to hope that they miss a few, but I loved how we went at them, and we gave them everything we had. My hat's off to them. They're really playing well. I think they're playing the best of anybody left.
Questions for the student athletes. We'll start up front here at the end.
Zach Drapkin, Vavel.com. VJ and Demetrius, is there any consolation in being named to the all-tournament team?
Start with VJ.
No, not really. We were at this exact same spot last year. This one hurts just a little bit more, because we got back here again, and, we're really not worried about individual accolades or anything like that. So,
Demetrius?
One thing, I'm really proud of VJ, the way he stepped up this postseason. I've known VJ for a long time, and to see him just do what he did this postseason is really good. And going into senior year, I think that was huge, and is going to help emerge him into a better leader and a better player.
Okay, any other questions up here in the second row?
Greg Logan of Newsday for Demetrius. In the second half, when Meeks got going early in the second half, how did that affect you guys defensively the rest of the way when they could post up like that inside?
He's a great player, and he makes great moves inside. So we just had to come down and dig a little bit more. And he made some tough shots, and we tip our hats to him. And best of luck to them.
All right, we have one in row 4. Is that correct? Yep, go ahead.
Stephen Demetrius, David Haas, Chicago Tribune. Could you just talk about what the game plan was offensively in terms of taking time off the shot clock, and how much of that was tried to minimize possessions for Carolina?
Yeah, we definitely wanted to try to slow it down a little bit, but get great shots every time, and I think we did that, in the first half a little bit, and we were in a pretty good rhythm offensively, and second half I think we did a lot of the similar stuff, but we were attacking a little bit more. But they did a great job, defending for a full 40 minutes, and you got to give them credit.
Yeah, they did a great job, and we just wanted to play at our tempo, and they did a good job of executing what they wanted to do defensively. So we just went out and gave it all we had and just came up short.
Do we have any other questions for the student? Yep, Shannon, staying in row 4.
Shannon Ryan, Chicago Tribune. Demetrius, you kind of had a moment there at the end with Zach. Could you just share what you said or what that moment was like for you?
Yeah, just giving him a hug, just because he's put so much into the program and he's really poured his heart and soul into it. And so, as a senior and that being his last game at the university, just trying to give him a hug.
All right, back here to the front row.
Zach Drapkin, Vavel.com. North Carolina was hounding the boards. Did you guys try to make any adjustments down the stretch to try to limit that?
Let's go with Steve first.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what they're known for, crashing and getting offensive rebounds. But, we just try to block out, fly into the glass. They bring in 4 big guys, and, they're really good at that. So you give them credit for staying on the backboards. And, we try to keep them off the glass, and they were able to get a couple good looks.
Any other questions for the student athlete? Yep, over here on the other side of the curtain here, row 1. Go ahead, Aaron.
Demetrius, Aaron Bracey from the AP. Did you guys, as well as you guys played in the first half, you were still down 5. What was the feeling coming out of the locker room?
We've been in a bunch of different positions this year, so we felt good, felt confident still, and we just wanted to give ourselves a chance to win. And I'm really proud of the effort our team gave, and they're a great team, and so we tip our hat to them. But I'm really proud of just the effort we gave as a whole.
Okay, any other questions for the student athletes? All right, we'll dismiss them at this time. Thanks, you guys. Thanks on a great season. Congratulations. Quick note before we start with questions for Coach. Notre Dame locker room will be open until 11:35. I have 11:12 on my clock right now, so 11:35. So we'll start with questions for Coach Bray. Start at the end of, is that row 4? I think row 5, and then we'll go to you, Bob. So go ahead.
Kevin Treslini, DelawareOnline.com. Hey, Mike, you talked yesterday just about how good North Carolina was. When you guys hit them with that 12-0 run, did that almost serve to kind of bring the best out of them, did you see?
I thought the way they answered that run was, championship level. We've hit people with runs like that, and, then it's been game situations down the stretch. I think Page hit a runner after we took the lead, and, they were great. Again, they've got a great vibe about them right now.
Okay, down here in front.
Why were you so hesitant down the stretch to foul on that long North Carolina possession from 2:30 to 1:30?
Because it was over. It was over. Our guys were exhausted too.
Okay, yep. Patrick on the other side of the aisle, yep.
Mike, during that run, that was right after they put Pinson back in, and it seemed like he was really active throughout a lot of that. What sort of a difference did he make in that stretch?
Well, I think because, we were playing small, they adjusted and didn't have 2 big guys on the court a lot of times, and he was able to play like a 4-man and guard a Beecham or a Vastoria. The problem is, on the other end, he's hard to keep off the backboard. Whether he's playing 3 or 4, he's an active. They just have a lot of trampolining guys that can keep the ball alive, and we just couldn't secure that first miss, and that hurt us.
I will stay on row 4 at the end of the aisle.
Mike, it's Mark Bradley from Atlanta. They, when you took the lead, they scored on 19 of their last 20 possessions. You ever seen anything like that in the regional final?
Yeah, I'm sitting there thinking they got to miss one. Is Bryce Johnson, can he miss one? Can he just help us a little bit? But I don't know if I've ever experienced that because, we burned in the first half and really controlled tempo. And we called timeout when they went up on us and we played our 2 big guys. We started playing, and Bonzi, we post them and we get the lead, and you're thinking, this is going down to the wire, and we won it going down to the wire. But I give them credit, man. They just were. And they got every 50-50 ball. And, again, I think their bodies were fresher because they play some more guys. And, Demetrius Jackson couldn't come out of the game tonight, and he was unbelievable, but he was also exhausted.
We'll stay in row 4 a little further down. Go
Mike,
ahead.
just what was your mindset before the game going in offensively to try to, you used to call it the burn?
Yeah, we were in it. We were in it. You saw it. We were grinding that thing, single digits on the clock, ball screening then for Demetrius or Matt Farrell. I thought we did a good job of getting VJ in a ball screen because they had a big on him. So we tried to get him up in a ball screen because they were playing two bigs at the time. And, we were right. I loved where we were at halftime. Again, we had a hard time stopping them, but we're flowing a little bit. The possessions were down. But then in the second half, once you go down a couple possessions, you're not holding the ball anymore. So we played our main lineup, and we started attacking, and that helped us physically in the paint a little bit against them. And I love that we took the lead, but, man, did they punch us back. And, again, I take my hat off to them.
Back up here in front.
Zach Drapkin, Vavel.com. Zach really seemed to struggle tonight. Was that a testament to the North Carolina bigs, or did you see anything different from him in particular?
He had a tough night. I feel for him. We don't get to this game without him, and I know he feels bad. He had an unbelievable year for us. The foul trouble probably hurt him and never really got him into a rhythm. He sat the whole half. Maybe I should have put him back in with 2 fouls just so he could feel the game a little bit. But when we're getting big-time defensive rebounds, it's usually that guy getting them, and he didn't get as many tonight. It was a tough night for him, but, again, we're not this far without what Zach gave us this season.
Any more questions for Coach? All right, Shannon, go ahead in row 4.
Mike, could you just kind of put the season into context? Obviously, big accomplishment going back to back Elite Eights, but falling short again. What that means.
You know what I told our guys? And I went back to the locker room last year in Cleveland after the Kentucky game, and I said, I remember saying it was an honor to coach you. And I remember walking out of that locker room thinking, I wonder, I won't ever feel the same about a team like I did that team last year. And I felt better about this group because they were unbelievably coachable. Our leadership grew in areas I didn't think we could grow, Demetrius Jackson especially. And they had expectations. They were supposed to be pretty good, and people were coming off the ACC championship, Elite Eight. Last year's team, we were 15 and 17. They had no pressure. They could just play. And I just told them, I said, I can't. You were better than them. You were tougher than them, and I never thought I'd say that. So, we've got a lot of guys coming back. It was a fabulous run for us. We've got a lot of guys coming back that have won in this tournament and feel it's what we should do. And I love that characteristic of our program right now.
Do we have one more? We have one more? Yep, Mike, we'll do that one, and then we'll dismiss Coach.
Coach, I may have answered this. I apologize. I got here late, but they went inside early in the second half, and I wondered if that kind of disrupted what you were had tried to do.
Yeah, we were playing a smaller lineup and hoping we could hold them off. Once they got a couple possession lead, we put Bonzi in there for Matt Farrell, and that helped us. We made the run and took the lead. We were able to guard them a little bit better in the post with 2 big guys in. But as I said earlier before you came in, how they answered our 1-point lead was championship-level stuff. I take my hat off to them. They made every big play.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Let's get healthy.
Yeah, we're good.
Once again, the Notre Dame locker room is open until 11:35. Right now it is 11:18. We'll have North Carolina coach and players in just a few minutes, I believe. Come on up, fellas. They can't go up until we have to change it. Okay, Carolina's on the way. Once again, if you didn't hear the announcement earlier, all tournament from Indiana, Yogi Ferrell. From Notre Dame, Demetrius Jackson and VJ Beecham. From North Carolina, Marcus Page and Bryce Johnson. Johnson was the most outstanding player for the regional. If you're trying to get satellite coordinates for these press conferences, satellite coordinates SES3, transponder 4A, downlink frequency is 11766.5 vertical. You can also get it via FTP, two different ways. One is website ncaaMBB.hammondcg.com, Hammond, HAMMONDCG.com. At the prompt, the username is lowercase NCAAM 2016. Password is 2016 capital M lowercase NCAA Media. You can also get it FTP at the host name ftp3.ftp2yoursite.com. That's ftp2yoursite.com. Username is NCAAM 2016. Password is 2016 capital M lowercase NCAA Media, and the port is 21. Indeed. Once again, I have 11:26 on my clock. The Notre Dame locker room will close at 11:35, so you have 9 minutes if you need Notre Dame stuff.
Welcome to the press conference.
Steve, you got any announcements? Or? Okay. All right, we have head coach Roy Williams. We have Marcus Page. We have Bryce Johnson. I suppose I should say that we finally have Theo Pinson up here. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach. Then we will throw it to questions for the student athletes. If you have a question, we have a couple of microphone holders. Just raise your hand. They'll bring you one. Your name and your outlet before you ask your question. So, Coach, if you can get us started.
You want me to make the opening announcement, or you want Theo? Don't be stealing my drink.
My fault. Get this on film.
We invited Theo because we knew he was going to invite himself, so we might as well just make it legit and let him come. But can't be any happier for these guys and the ones in those locker rooms than I am right now. It was a sensational basketball game. It was frustrating for us in the first half. We weren't doing a very good job of winning the tempo battle or guarding them. And I think that was more frustrating than anything else. Bryce kept us in the game with his jump shots, and I wanted him to get inside more so we could see if we get him in foul trouble. But we're still, at half we were up 5. And in the second half, we got it going a little bit, and then all of a sudden they made a huge run. And it started by just Kennedy's not even up here. We got the ball, and we're going down, and there's going to be 3-on-0, and Kennedy doesn't pass it soon enough, and all of a sudden it's a turnover going back the other direction, and they score 10 or 11 or 12 in a row at that point. I didn't call a timeout because I've always coached every day to handle things. Theo had used a timeout when he made the great steal to end their run, and I thought that was fine. But I had confidence in my guys, and Marcus took the words right out of my mouth before I could even say it in the timeout. He said, guys, they made runs. It's a game of runs. We're going to make a run. And I was going to tell them a thing I'd already told them before the game ended at halftime. It's not supposed to be easy to get to the Final Four, and we can handle this. But certainly proud of our guys and everybody up here and all the ones in the locker room.
Questions for the student athletes. We'll start in the aisle with Mike.
Michael Luongo, AP broadcast for Marcus and for Bryce. Talk about the ability to respond the way you did. They're showing the maturity, the leadership, and the composure to come back the way you did when they made that run, and then answer back the way you guys did. Just where does that come from?
I got it. Want me to do it?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, first of all, I would like to apologize for that technical foul because, I mean, that was probably the biggest thing that sparked that run. And, I mean, it's really dumb on my part to put my teammate in a situation like that and be a leader on this team. I don't want to be able to do that and have myself not be in the game and hurting them at the same time I get in the text. So, I mean, my teammates did a very good job of just playing. I mean, they really stepped up in the time of need when and Marcus, like Coach said, Marcus just came in the huddle and was like, hey, they're going to go on a run. I mean, we just got to go on a run too. So, I mean, I really appreciate those guys just stepping up in a time like that.
And Marcus?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. That swing was huge. We got up 11, and then they erased the 11-point deficit so fast that, we had no choice but to keep playing. I kept telling the guys, it's a long game. We had all the time in the world to just play better. And then Theo gave us a big lift. Kennedy gave us a huge lift in that stretch. Our defense got a lot better. We did a better job containing the ball and locating shooters and stuff. And then once we got in our rhythm and knocked down some shots, it was game.
Up here in row 3, second seat.
Henry Bushnell, SB Nation. Marcus, in the last minute and a half, was it tough to not crack? I know a couple of times you almost broke into a smile, and then you yelled something over towards the table. First, what'd you yell, and was it difficult to not crack?
Yeah, it was tough. We've seen some crazy things happen in this tournament, so you want to stay in the moment and make sure that, what you're seeing is going to happen. But I think with 34 seconds left, I started tearing up, and everyone was getting real excited. I was looking over at the bench. The guys were jumping around, and my family's right behind the bench, so it was really hard to stay in the moment. But I was just so overwhelmed and excited that I'm glad Coach took me out because I probably would have done something stupid.
We'll come up here to row 1, the third seat in.
Brett Friedlander, Wilmington Star News. Theo,
here we go.
Sorry, Coach.
Make sure everybody gets a picture here. I want this to be seen by everybody.
Theo, were you aware that the other 3 number 1 seeds today or yesterday all lost? And what was the difference? Why were you guys different when you were tested like that? You guys had the answer. You were able to rise to the occasion, and the other ones may not have.
I think it was just our focus. We were watching the game. I'm not gonna lie, we was watching the game, the Syracuse game. We saw they were down, but we all agreed as a team to turn the TV off and just focus on our game. We control our own destiny, and that's what we did.
I think we have one on the other. Do we have one on the other side of the curtain or no? Okay, row 4 here at the end, Mark.
Mark Narducci, the Philadelphia Inquirer. Theo, could you just talk about the lift that you and Kennedy both gave them in the second half, especially after neither of you took a shot in the first half?
Basically, we just let the game come to us. We didn't want to force anything. Coach he preaches to us to just take the shot the team wants. And I think pretty much all the shots that we took were shots our team was very comfortable with. And, of course, with them going in, it helped a lot.
We'll stay in row 4, just 2-3 seats in.
Lindsay Schnell, Sports Illustrated. Theo, did you invite yourself here tonight, or did Coach say you could come because you were such a spark off the bench?
Just say you have no idea.
I have no idea. Thank you.
Up here at the end of row 1.
Zach Drapkin, Vavel.com. Bryce, how did you so effectively dominate your matchup with Zach August?
Well, he wasn't really guarding me most of the game. I mean, they had Pastore on me at one point, and I mean, they had Colston on me at one point. Beecham was on me at one point. So, I mean, Zach really didn't play as much as we thought he would because, I mean, I think he was in foul trouble. So, I mean, I saw a little bit of everybody. So, just try to just get it in the paint and just shoot my shots.
Okay, we'll stay in row 1 here.
Brooke Pryor, North State Journal. Theo, you finally did make it up here. How's it going so far, and do you want to come back for another press conference?
Not allowed. I'll be all right if I don't come. I'll just crash it again. But I mean, I just wanted to step up for my team, and that's how I guess you earn your way up here. I didn't really care about being up here. I just try to make everybody loose.
Theo was being Theo, and he does a great job of that. And today he does a great job of that and helping our basketball team, making a nice trip to Houston.
Okay, we'll go end a row here in row 2, and then we'll go.
Jeremy Schneider, Star Ledger. Guys, you're the last number 1 seed left. Clearly some really good teams, but you're playing probably your best ball of the year right now. Do you feel like you're the favorite to win it all at this point?
Start with Marcus.
I think we always thought we were going to be the favorite because in our minds, when we're playing our best basketball, we feel like we can't be beat. So that's a mentality I'm sure all 4 teams have going in. And there's some, I mean, Oklahoma and Villanova, those are number 1 seed worthy teams. So it's not like we're the only team that had a great season left. And Syracuse put together a terrific run, so they're in it too. But at the same time, we feel like when we're playing our best that, we're happy with any matchup we get.
Bryce?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I definitely feel like we're the favorite just because, I mean, why wouldn't you feel like you're the favorite in this tournament? I mean, you want to go in there with a very confident, and you don't want to go in there scared. So, I mean, why wouldn't you want to be very confident and say you're the favorite?
And Theo?
I like what y'all try to tell us that we're underdogs. I mean, I think it brings a fire to us, and I think it helps out a lot.
Okay, so I think on the other side of the curtain, row 3. I can't see him, but maybe the players can. Yep.
Mark Armstrong, ABC 11. I was hoping Marcus and then Theo and then Roy. One of the big plays in that second half was started by you out battling Zach August for a rebound, and then you got it to Kennedy. Can you just take me through your portion of that play, and then same thing for you, Theo, and then Coach, just give me your impression when you saw that unfold.
I was on the weak side, and Coach is always telling us the guards get back in and help the big guys rebound. So I just jumped as high as I could, and I think August still tipped it first, but I just stayed after it, and me and him kind of like tipped it off each other 3 or 4 times, and I was able to come up with it and save it to Kennedy, and then Theo ran the floor, and I guess I'll pass it off to him what he did with it after that.
Theo?
I caught the ball, got a little nervous. No, I'm just playing. I caught the ball. I saw Isaiah, and he was pointing up, so I was like, all right, I'm going to give him a chance. And I just threw it up there, and he took care of the rest. So, oh, yeah, I did. And then I looked at Coach, and he was clapping, so I was like, all right, because that was a little marginal.
Coach?
And my part of it, I said, let's get back, get back, get back. That's all I was saying. I was clapping and screaming, get back on defense.
Okay, stay on this side of the curtain, row 1.
Aaron Bracey, AP. For any of the players, I'm wondering if you saw your coach cut the net and cut his finger, I guess, and wondering what you think of that, and what do you think of his net cutting ability?
Marcus?
Well, he should be used to cutting nets. It's something he's done several times in his career, but a couple games ago he was bleeding as well, and he came in the huddle and he was like, guys, I'll bleed for you guys if you keep playing the way you're playing. So I guess he wanted to do it again. It might be good luck. So we'll get him patched up and see if he starts bleeding again.
And we'll have Bryce as well.
Hey, like Marcus said, we'll take it. Hey, he's bled the last couple games. He keeps biting his lip and his tongue, and then now he cut his finger. So I mean, it must be like Marcus said, it must be good luck. So. Keep bleeding, Coach. Just not too much.
I told him I'll do that, and I'd do it again. But I did bite my tongue, and it was bleeding the whole first half 2 nights ago. It's not very pleasant, but I was screaming at Bryce to get his rear end up off the ground. He'd slipped and fallen. He took a nap instead of getting up and running back on defense. And so today I was up there cutting a net, and I started to take a step back, and felt like the ladder moved a little bit, and I grabbed. And when I grabbed the end of the scissors, and it started bleeding. I've really got very good looking blood. It's very bright, very deep colors.
All right, we'll go to row 3, 3rd seat in.
Nicole Auerbach, USA Today. This is for Marcus, Bryce, and Coach. Can you describe Theo being Theo in your own words?
Can I go?
Go ahead.
Marcus?
I mean, the easiest way to describe it is just just look, just watch him be himself. He's just really energetic. He always brings positive energy. He's just kind of the guy that you want to have in your locker room. No matter what the situation is, he makes it fun. He keeps it loose. He's a terrific basketball player as well. That always helps, But yeah, he's just Theo. There's no adjective that can aptly describe that man.
And Bryce?
I mean, did you see the way he walked up here at the beginning of the press conference? And I mean, that's just who he is. I mean, he brings up a lot of fun to the locker room when we're all like stressed out. I mean, he kind of eases everybody's mind, and I mean, he just likes to have fun. But when he steps in those lines, I mean, he's a totally different person, just like the rest of us.
Okay, we'll go to fourth row, third seat in, and then we'll come back up front for the last couple.
Marcus, Coach has talked the last few days about how coaching this team has been a salvation for him, amidst everything that's going on. For you guys to get into another Final Four, what does that mean to you?
I mean, it means the world to us. I'm sure it means a lot to him as well. The stuff we always talk about off the court is well documented. We don't need to spend a whole lot of time talking about that today, but it's made this a little bit sweeter. It's been a tough 4 years in Chapel Hill, but to come out on top and with this group, how much scrutiny we've gotten, even as a 1 seed, how many people have doubted us to either not make it out of the first weekend and not be tough enough to win the ACC. A lot of people didn't even have us in the Final Four, a lot of the experts and stuff. So to do that with this group, we love Coach and Coach loves us, and we don't ever want it to stop. So I think it's been a special ride.
All right, we'll do our last two up front here, so end of the row.
Zach Drapkin, Vavel.com. For any of you, are there any early thoughts on your matchup with Syracuse?
Theo?
We just won. I'm going to enjoy this one first.
I tell you, my man is coachable because I started to say, let us enjoy this dadgum game. Okay, let us enjoy this.
All right, we'll go to our final question then.
Bryce, you had 12 rebounds today. I believe Notre Dame had 15 as a team. Check the stat sheet.
Really?
Yeah. Was that a product of just the height advantage that you guys had, or was there something else? Was it just like Coach likes to say, want to?
Well, first, I mean, their best rebounder wasn't in the game. Most of the game he was in foul trouble. So I mean, that really hurts them when it comes to rebounding. And then I mean, it was a size difference for them. And I mean, we got a lot of long and lanky, athletic guys on our team that can really go up and get it. I mean, I just try to just go get it every time it was up in the air. So.
Okay, we will dismiss the student athletes at this time. Congratulations, guys.
Theo.
Okay, we'll take questions for Coach. Once again, just your name and your outlet before you ask your question. We'll start in the aisle, actually standing. No, I'll start with way in the back, standing, and then we'll start moving up.
Michael Luongo, AP broadcast. Coach, it was pointed out back on Thursday, the guys hadn't been to a Final Four since 2009 for the school with a lot of expectations and so forth, and you didn't kind of pay attention too much to that now. But to get back to a Final Four, you've done this like 5 times as a coach for yourself. How special is it for you and for the school to get back there?
It is really special, and that's the reason I even know how many times we've done it. This is my 8th time in 28 years as a head coach. I've had great players that have taken me. The thing I'm really proud of is I've taken my high school coach with me to 8 Final Fours, and he'll be going again this weekend. But, Marcus, the things he said there were really nice, and I've said this to some of you folks out there on the court. I've never wanted anything in my life for someone else as much as I wanted to get this bunch to the Final Four. I'm corny, I'm old-fashioned, I'm anything you want to say, but fortunately for me, I was very lucky that I've had some big-time players. In 2007, I was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame, and the worst feeling I've ever had is I started thinking about my '97 team at Kansas because I felt like I hadn't done anything because I didn't get those guys to the Final Four, and that was something I'll never get over. And this one would have been even tougher. And so what those kids, I wanted it so much for them But I guess in the back of my head, I didn't want to have those regrets too. But never in my life have I ever wanted anything as much for somebody else as I wanted these guys to go to Houston.
Okay, we'll go to the last row on the end of the row.
Carn Phillips, News Journal. Coach, with the Final Four set, just your thoughts on all four teams being impacted and led by juniors and seniors.
Carl, I appreciate you. You know, we're going to do media stuff for 14 hours this week, and we're going to practice 7 minutes. So I'll answer that question. I really do want to enjoy the heck out of this one right now. And Oklahoma, Lon Kruger's one of my best friends. Jay Wright's a guy I admire and what he's done with his club. Jimmy Boeheim's been around since the rocks cooled. So I look at coaches first, you know, but they've done great jobs with their teams. And, you know, Buddy Hield has put on a show all year long. Jay Wright's club has just been sensational. And Jimmy's one of those old guys that doesn't say much, but he's probably laughing himself crazy right now because people ask him why he made the tournament. And he not only made the tournament, but he's going to Houston. So it says a lot about our league, too, because I don't even remember, like, Syracuse was like 9-9. Does anybody know what our Syracuse was in our league? That's a pretty doggone good indication of how good our league was, too. But I'm happy for all those guys. And like I say, we're going to get to practice 7 minutes in Houston and have you guys asking us all these daggum questions for 4 hours.
Before we take our next question, just a quick
And you
note.
guys are giggling, too, so you know what the hell I'm talking about.
UNC locker room is scheduled to close at 11:55. It is 43 right now, so we'll keep this moving along, but just letting you know that. A couple up here in the front row. We'll start in seat 2 and then seat 4.
Brooke Pryor, North State Journal. Roy, Kennedy really started out the second half. I think he had all 8 of your points to start off. What kind of halftime adjustments was he making that made him be more effective to start that half?
Well, you know, it was strange because we were having such a difficult time guarding their offense in the first half, and we tried to go small. And I told them at halftime, I don't want to stay small because we have an advantage with size, and the inside game should be an advantage. So I told those guys, I'm going to put you back in the game, but you better get down and play some defense. And I said to Kennedy and Isaiah, we had 4 and Bryce, 3 of our 4 turnovers in the first half were our big guys, and they've just been silly. You know, Kennedy just lost the ball, Bryce just lost the ball, you know, and Isaiah charges a guy. So that was 3 of our 4 turnovers. I said, I want to play you guys, but you got to be effective. And I thought Kennedy really was around the basket and scared me at one time because it looked like Demetrius had really rolled his ankle badly, but he bounced right back up. But Kennedy was big for us during that time period.
We'll stay in the front row and the 4th seat in.
Coach Zach Gelb here, WHIP Radio. You talk about how much you wanted to get this group to the Final Four, but what makes this group so fun for you to coach?
Well, it's, you know, it's not anything that hadn't been talked about for a few years, but my salvation and the time I've enjoyed my life the most has been on the court coaching these kids. And it hadn't always been smooth, and even this year, I don't think Luke's in here, but Luke DeCock asked me yesterday because until 3 weeks ago, this was the least appreciated really good team I've ever coached and the most criticized really good team I've ever coached. And so I got tired of listening to all that stuff, and that made me want some things even more for them. I mean, everybody had a solution, you know, what our problems were. We were pretty doggone good.
We'll go to row 3, 2nd seat in.
Henry Bushnell, SB Nation. Coach, is there any common thread or maybe any similarity that stands out to you between the 05 team, the 09 team, and this team?
Yeah, really good players. Other than that, this team's gotten better defensively, and I think particularly the 09. 05 got better throughout the whole year. We had some good defensive stances at several points. 09 didn't really do much defensively until we got to this stage in the season. This team started getting better and better, and probably the guy that started working more intensely and harder than anybody was probably Bryce, because I've been after him about his defensive play all year long, and Kennedy would be second. And I think those guys really picked up their play on the defensive end, and everybody else continued to improve. So I'd say that'd be the biggest thing.
Okay, we'll go to row 5.
We don't score the ball quite as easily as the 09 team did. You know, in 09, we just scored the ball so easily.
We'll go to Art in row 5.
Yeah. Congratulations, Coach. We've both seen a lot of Carolina basketball over the years, and I was thinking, was this as good of a total team effort with everybody contributing when things started going a little rough than you can ever remember?
You know, Art, I'd probably say so. I'd have to think about it. You know, 77 when everybody got hurt. And everybody, John Kuster picked his game up, and all those guys, while Phil and Walter and everybody was hurt. I think I remember back to that point. Some of these people in here now weren't even alive in '77, but I do think that it really was a total team thing. And, Theo made 3 huge plays, the steal, the dive on the floor, the loose ball, the call, the timeout, and the 2 offensive rebounds for baskets. Kennedy, who I've been on so hard and really did some good things for us in there. I think that Nate in the first half was really big for us. I think Nate had 3 field goals, or his only 2 field goals, were in the first half. And so I think you look down there, and I think we did get a lot of contributions from a lot of guys.
We'll go to end of the row of row 4, and then we'll come to row 2.
Anthony Zula-Heffinger, Yahoo Sports. Coach, you mentioned the runs that Notre Dame would make, and then your team would come back and make another run right away. Can you just speak about the nature of the game and how it seemed like you guys were just trading blows one after another until the end when you finally pulled away?
Most games has their peaks and valleys. Most times you have good runs. The other team's going to have some runs too. If you're significantly better, they don't usually have one that lasts as long. Coach Wooden used to say that he full court pressed because he'd have a run of 8-0, 12-2 during a game. If you have 1 or 2 of those, that usually wins the game for you, and that was 50 or 60 years ago. But I'm always confident in my team not folding. I really am. And when they made the run, we started with Kennedy, the facility turnover, and then we went behind on the ball screen, and Demetrius backs up and knocks a 3. They pull in there, and we didn't get a hand up on his 2-pointer from about 8 feet. So we made some mistakes. And then we just talked about during that timeout. I'm serious. I was going to tell them the same thing I said to our team in 2005 in the national championship game. We had a 16-point lead on Illinois, and they came back and tied it. And I called a timeout. I said, God, we're in great shape. Because did you think that team was going to give in? They won 37 games. So I told this team about that before this week, I think. And so we always try to get them to understand nothing's going to change unless you keep playing. You keep playing, you can change some things. If you give in, you have no hope. And so I was really proud of my team.
We'll come up to row 2, end of the row.
Yes.
Jeremy Schneider, Star Ledger. Coach, you talked a little bit about the scrutiny you faced after the Indiana win, and then tonight. Does that scrutiny, the doubters?
I'm not sure I understand what scrutiny you're talking about.
We talked about a couple seconds ago from critics, saying.
Oh, I was saying that was what was going on 3 or 4 weeks ago, not
Gotcha.
since the Indiana game.
No, I'm sorry. You just talked about it after the Indiana game. That's my fault.
Okay.
Does that make this trip especially validating or vindicating for you?
I don't think it validates anything. We had a problem. We're embarrassed. We're mad. We're ticked off about what happened, but we know that men's basketball had nothing to do with it, and we were very proud of that. But again, as I said the other day, my integrity and credibility has never been questioned, and some people, particularly some media people, took their chances, and I didn't like that at all, and I'll never forget over that. But the bottom line is I was able to go to practice every day, and my team made it a heck of a lot of fun, and I'd like that to be the story instead of the other junk. The other junk's gotten about 1 million times more publicity than I care to think about.
We'll come down here to row 1.
Was it your game plan to pound the ball inside from the get-go, or was it more a product of just how things transpired over the course of the game?
That's our game plan all the time, is we got to try to get the ball inside. We have good players inside. We have scores inside, and we have and we have a size advantage over Notre Dame. But Coach Smith, you heard me say this the other night, your game plan's good for the first 6 minutes, and then you got to go by the seat of your pants. They went to the slow down kind of thing to try to milk the clock to go late, and we weren't doing a very good job of covering when it did get into late clock. We tried to go 1-3-1 trap. We tried to double the screen on the ball. We changed the way we were playing the screen the whole second half, and all of a sudden that worked a lot better for us. But for us, we were just trying to find something that would work, because at halftime, we're shooting 64% and they're shooting 58%. So I wasn't real pleased with their defense at halftime, to say the least.
Any more questions for the last row? We'll take the final question in the last row.
Coach, I know there's always a lot of talk about, I'm sorry, John Small with Philadelphia Daily News. A lot of talk about the one and done and the value of having a player that talented. But when you look at your team with Marcus and Bryce, and then you look at this Final Four, which is going to be a senior-dominated Final Four, can you just talk about the value of having experience and maybe doing it a little different, like recruiting guys who are going to be around a while so you can build a continuity and build a team?
I've always said I want a little bit of both. I want some of those great players like a Marvin Williams or a Brandon Wright who came and played for us 1 year and then left, but I also want some guys that are going to be staying around for a long time. I think the value of college basketball is pretty impressive. I think guys appreciate that and appreciate what happens. Bryce came in, was not a McDonald's All-American, but he's one of the, I guess that's 25 players. He's one of the best 25 players in college basketball right now. Marcus is a great student, athlete, and he's gained a great deal, and I think he's enjoying himself right now. Tim Duncan was not a North Carolina guy, but he's a guy I had as much respect for and still have as anybody I've ever been around. And I even asked him when his Olympic qualifications in 2003, I said, Tim, are you one of those any ABC guys, anybody but Carolina? And he said, no, I'm not, Coach. I said, good. And he said, I'm ABCD, anybody but Carolina or Duke. You know, so he let me know where he stood right there. But he had to go, because I wanted to ask him and see what his statement was, because I had been told that he said, why should I go do now what I'll be much more prepared to do later on in my life? And he did say that, and I told him how proud I was, because it's okay. Every individual gets to make their own decision. It's okay for Marvin Williams to go to the NBA after 1 year, or Brandon Wright. But it's also okay for Bryce Johnson to hang around and get better and better and better and go through some experiences that'll be good for him. So there's no one rule that's perfect for everybody. But I like a mix. I like some of those guys that hang around, but you know, if there's a 7'10" guy out there with that could shoot threes and block every shot in the world, if he wants to come and be one of my partners for 1 year, I'll take him. But I do like a mix of some kids, and the relationships that you can build with kids over 4 years, I don't think you can put a value on.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Steve, thanks, buddy.